All right. Okay, so yeah, welcome to the meeting. Today we're talking about Iceland. My name is Diana Germany. I'm with Travel Avidly. We've been doing this for a while now, and we do small group tours all around the world. I'll talk a little bit more about us in a couple minutes. But yeah, like I said, welcome to this conversation about Iceland, our trip that is next year. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen now so that we can get started. Yeah, so this is going to be a midwinter trip. We'll be going from February 17th and returning on the 22nd.
And the reason for those dates is because that's the height of the season to be able to see the Northern Lights. And by the way, I was talking to our guide over there, and he said that 2023 this past winter, was the best sighting year in years. So, and I don't know whether it's the warmth of the following summer,
Silver lining of global warming,
or global warming, or what the reason is. But he said they expect another banner year this year in terms of sightings. A lot of times you go there, you try to go out every day and try to find the lights, but that's not that. But we're going to probably be able to see them almost every day, according to him. But I mean, we can't guarantee them because it's all about conditions. It's the weather, if it's cloudy or not. Of course, there's not a lot of clouds in Iceland, especially this time of year. But still, we can't guarantee it. True. Oh, hello, Aldo.
Yeah, we just got Aldo. So yeah, we'll go ahead and get started. Before we talk about Iceland, I was going to tell you a little bit about us, who we are and why we're different. One of the biggest things is that we do very small groups, usually 8 to 15 people, most max out around 10. I think this trip is designed for about 10 people. Our focus is on building community, helping you all make friends with each other, as well as with our hosts. Different people will meet along the way to really give you an opportunity to have unique experiences and to build sort of intimate relationships and connections. All of our trips are curated by small local operators in each country. So we have, again, unique experiences, and you're never going to feel like you're 40 on a bus. Our trips are often all-inclusive or mostly inclusive. All of our activities are included in the price, admissions, and most of the meals are included, the majority of meals. We do offer a focus on learning. So prior to each trip, we have 2 to 3 pre-trip meetings. This is a great chance to learn more about. We'll talk about Northern Lights, what they are, talk about Iceland, get a little bit more educated about where we're going, what we're experiencing. And this also gives you then an opportunity to get to know the other people who are going on the trip. This way, when when everyone lands, you already kind of know each other. And if you're looking for a roommate, it can be a great way to get to know potential roommates. Because we can suggest, but we don't assign. We try to help you get to know someone else, make sure that it's a good fit, all that. So that gives you a good opportunity for that. One of our biggest perks is that we have very flexible pricing. So you have an option to put 15% down and then do monthly payments until 90 days out, as long as you're paid up by 90 days out. And there's no service charge, there's no interest. So that can really help people, plan ahead and be able to take these trips. So before we get started about Iceland specifically, there are a few considerations to note about when you travel to somewhere like Iceland. Like a lot of other travel, since COVID, flexibility is key. While we try to control and plan and coordinate as much as we can, there will be bumps, there will be challenges, especially someplace where weather plays such a large role like Iceland. So go into it being flexible. We're going to have an amazing experience. We're going to have an amazing time. We're going to see amazing things. But sometimes things are going to shift a little bit, and we'll do our best with our guide, to sort of ride those waves and get to see and do everything that we can. And as Jim mentioned earlier, the Northern Lights, they are a natural display, so they're not guaranteed. There are some really cool apps as we get closer to the trip that forecast the activity. So My Aurora, and this is on both for Apple as well as Androids. You can download it. And it's a really fun way to learn more about the Northern Lights and look at the calendar, and then we have a good idea, of what we're going to see, how amazing they are, where the best locations are, all of that. Another note is Iceland can be expensive. While we do cover all of the breakfasts, they're included with all the hotels and a few of the dinners. Lunches are usually going to be independent. We'll do some things where we combine, get groceries, have kind of a picnic experience. Sometimes we'll eat at the guest houses where we're staying. But a lunch by itself can be like $30, for instance. So Iceland is known as being a very expensive place and will help create a budget before we go, but it's just something to be aware of. Also keep in mind, February in Iceland, it is cold, and we will discuss packing lists later when we get closer to the trip, but be prepared. There's going to be snow, it's going to be cold, and so you want to dress warmly, lots of layers so that you can, remove and add as necessary. And a note about hotels, they are a lot smaller in Iceland than we're used to in America. Often it's a small room. There are 2 twin beds that can be put together if you want to sleep next to your partner, or if it's a roommate and you want to scoot them apart, but the room is not going to be a lot bigger than that. There may be a bedside table or 2, and there's going to be a bathroom. But we are, none of the hotels are very large in Iceland. It's just, it's more of a, it's just the way that they're done there. And so they are going to be tiny. And it's just good to know you want to pack light, pack what you need, and don't pack extras. But again, we'll talk more about packing lists as we get closer to the trip. And if you have any questions as we go through, go ahead and put them in the chat, and then Jim will be answering questions as they come up while I'm presenting. And if he's not sure of the answer, he'll bring it up, and then I can talk about it too, but I can't see the chat while I'm screen sharing. So yeah, day 1, we'll depart the US and go to Reykjavik. Day 2, we'll arrive. Always takes the first couple of days. So we'll arrive, we'll meet everyone, we'll actually meet our guide, have a meeting so that we can sort of, what's the weather like right then, what can we expect, sort of those last minute logistical arrangements that will be made. This will be a nice time for anyone who does feel like it to do some walking around, some exploration of the city. We may break up into groups, we may do it all together, or if you want to just stay in the hotel and relax, that's fine too. And then we'll have a group dinner. A couple other options. There's a geothermal pool not far away, so anyone who wants to go soak in that to start the trip, or even going to the National Museum, that's another option as well. The first night we'll be staying in the Foss Hotel Lind. I do say or similar, this is where the reservations are, but we always say or similar. This is to give you a good idea of the kind of hotel rooms we're staying in. They're very nice hotels, usually 4 stars. So very nice, very comfortable. But in case there's a change, we don't want anyone to be like, but you promised it was this hotel, but this is where we're planning to stay right now for the first 2 nights, actually. No, I'm sorry, just the first night there, just in Reykjavik. Day 3, we'll leave and we'll go to Reykjanes Peninsula. And so this is going to be our first time in the hot springs. Well, actually on the way, we'll stop at the bridge between the continents, which is the footbridge that spans the fissure between the North American and Eurasian continental plates. We'll get to visit the mud pools and the stream vents of Gunnover, there's a story of the angry ghost that's been trapped in the hot springs for over 400 years. I think the bridge is actually really cool. You can see it right there, and you can walk across it. We'll also be visiting on the way a Lutheran church called the Strandarkirkja, which has been a landmark for seafaring travelers since the 12th century. That night will be our first night to go to a farm stay. It's a sustainable farm as well as bed and breakfast. And so we'll get a really delicious farm to table dinner that night when we get there. Almost all the ingredients are grown right there. And so it will be a really, really special meal. Day 4, we'll go to the Golden Circle, Volsvoller Valley. We'll get to see the geyser, which goes 20 to 30 feet in the air. 20 to 30 meters in the air. And so you can watch it, go up and down, and it's really, really fun to watch. And so you'll see it start to swell slowly, and then it will just explode, and then go back down and start over again. We'll also get to go to the waterfalls, and get to the Gullfoss double waterfall. So it's this massive waterfall where you can often see between 2 and 4 rainbows that are going into it. So this is not actually a photoshopped photograph. You can actually see the layers of rainbows, which is pretty incredible. And we'll end the day going to the Secret Lagoon, which is very, very unpopulated. Not a lot of tourists go here. And we'll actually get to soak and just kind of hang out after a couple of days of walking around and hiking. It'll feel pretty good.
I'm assuming that's a hot spring.
Yes, it's a warm
not
spring.
icy water.
Yes. Not icy water. It is a hot springs. Yes.
I see some steam coming off. So
Yes, it is warm. And then that night, we'll go and stay back at the farm stay for the second night. And are you monitoring the chat, Jim?
yeah.
Great. So yeah, day 5, we'll go to the south coast, the Volsviller Valley. And so then we'll do the glacier hike and we'll get to see 2, 1 second. Elias, that's really loud. Can you do it in the outside? Sorry, I'm sharing a hotel room with my 17-year-old son who's having cookies. So yeah, so we'll get to do 2 waterfalls that day. And so one of them, you can actually walk back behind the Skogafoss waterfall. You can walk back behind it and see it from the inside. And then we'll do the other waterfall hike as well, the Seljalandsfoss waterfall.
How long are those hikes?
I don't know how long the hikes are. We do both of them before lunch. So I can't imagine they're going to be very long.
Yeah, I think they're more up to the Vista type hikes. They're not like power hikes of 6 miles or 5 or 4. You know?
Yeah. None of these are power hikes, but I know these 2 are pretty close together, and most people do them both, in like a half day, less than half day between meals.
And while these trips are not for people in wheelchairs, perhaps you don't need to be in great shape. You need to, so that's really not a big consideration. When I see this, crap, but I'm what I understand about these, talking to everybody, is it's pretty easy hikes.
Yeah, when we set up a trip with a guide, we describe our clients who are mostly age 50 to 65 or 70 in reasonably good health. So if you have any health issues that you might be concerned about, feel free to talk to one of us about it, and we can actually talk to the guide, or we can tell you our own experience. But we are used to hiking and walking with, normally able-bodied people. So we try not to, if a trip is going to be really exercisive, we make sure to note that. We are doing a more active trek in Oaxaca in January, in Mexico, and that is going to be 4 to 6 miles a day, and so that's going to be a much more of a hike than this. These 2 are less than an hour apart walk. Yes, just making sure I'm touching on everything. And then we'll also our guide will tell us all about how to hike on a glacier like this, how to watch out for the caves, the crevices. We'll get a good education before we actually begin. And then our last day, we'll get to go to Thingvellir National Park. This is actually super, super cool because it's where the North American and the Eurasian tectonic plates actually meet, and they're slowly pulling apart. And that's what that river is. The water that you see there on the left side, that's the crevice that's slowly widening, and that's the water that's filling it up. So you can actually go and walk across it and see it, which is incredibly cool. And so we'll do that in the morning, have lunch, and then go to Reykjavik and have an afternoon walking tour of the city. So we'll learn more about the history and the culture of Reykjavik, visit the cathedral there for sure. And then we'll most likely stay in the same hotel that we stayed in the first night in Reykjavik before we head out the next day. And that's when we depart, is on day 7. So this is one of our shorter trips. Some of our other trips go up to 15 days, but this is kind of a short, sweet, and really, really incredible opportunity to see the Northern Lights. This is when the nights are long. They're about 16 hours. They've only got about 18 hours. You've got about 4 to 6 hours of daylight. And so the rest of the time is dark. So we'll have a lot of opportunity for the Northern Lights. Yes.
So
Jim.
one of the questions here is, because of the short daytime, will the hikes be fitted into that time frame? All of our sightseeing is going to be done within those 4 or 5 hours, right?
Yes, exactly.
I don't see any other way around it. That's just the way you do it in Iceland.
Yeah. Yes, there we go. Great, the pricing. This does right now until September 30th is we can guarantee this. Every month we evaluate if we can continue to include airfare or not. So right now it's $39.50, and that includes airfare from New York City. And we'll arrange it. The goal is to have everyone on the same flight from New York to Reykjavik. And recently we were doing all the arrangements for South Africa, and it was actually, going from Atlanta to Johannesburg. And it was really weird because the round trip from Atlanta to Johannesburg was more expensive than a lot of the flights that were from somewhere else in the country to Atlanta to Johannesburg and back again. And if that's the case, then we don't charge you any extra, as long as it's less than that, less than or equal to the New York City to Reykjavik charge. So then again, this includes all breakfasts, 3 dinners, all accommodations, tickets, passes for all tours, as well as the airport transfer from Reykjavik to our hotel, and then from the hotel back to back to the airport. And then, a single upgrade, 4560, and that means you would have a private room for for every night during the trip. So sorry about that. I didn't do that part. And then here's my contact again. There's our website, and this is my cell phone. So if you want a number to text someone, if you have any questions, if something comes up later, you're welcome to send me a text. I am in Europe right now, so I may not get it for a few hours, but as soon as I get it, I'll respond and get the information back to you.
But she's available anytime, 24 hours a day.
This is a difference of opinion Jim and I have. I am very available. I love my job, and I try really hard to be accessible. And I know what it's like when you have a question, you want to get it answered. And so we try really hard to get that back to you, as soon as possible. Thank you all so much for joining us today. Again, if you have any questions, get in touch, reach out. You'll probably get a follow-up email from me in the next couple of days, just checking in, seeing if you're still thinking about the trip. Anyone who came to this today is eligible for a $200 discount on the trip just for coming to this meeting today. All you have to do is send us a text message when you're ready to sign up. We'll give you the code, and then you can register for the trip. Thank you guys so much for your time and for showing up on a Saturday morning. It's Saturday afternoon for me, 4:30 now.
At 9 o'clock.
And we really, really appreciate your time today. So have a great day, Aldo. Have a great day, Joan. And thanks, Tony, for coming.
Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye, guys.
Bye.